And you, finger? Lekker. Look like one of those archer things, bro.
Mankind, bro.
Yeah. With mandible claw.
Yeah.
That's epic.
Chocolate fingers.
Yeah.
Chocolate fingers.
Why did they give you brown? Is that just...
They didn't even ask me. And honestly, like this costs 700 rand.
It's weird that everyone's asking why it's brown. I think it's because it doesn't get, like, black gets dirty really quickly.
It also is 700 rand.
Black,
I could have made this.
Yes, I got new respect for mankind, bro. To pay
Maybe.
$700 every time we went
I
out
could
there.
have just taped this like this. I was strapping my finger like this anyway.
Yeah, it seems a bit strange.
It's like unnecessary, I think. It's whatever.
It really looks like in like the Olympics for archery or
I'm just
something.
not allowed to let my finger split.
Is it?
Yeah, because the ligament here is what's torn. So it's like he says, like if it gets pushed there, it'll snap off, and then I have to have surgery. And
Oh.
So it's
Hand-
not attached.
Hand surgery freaks me out. I had pins here,
Mhm.
like as I tried to hit Turkey, like ducked his head and I caught him on top of the head.
Mhm.
But they left the pins sticking out. So I
Yeah.
was in one of these weird casts with the
Ligaments,
pins sticking
eh?
out.
Yeah,
No,
ligaments.
bones, bro.
Oh, shit.
But it was quite bad because it went right into my wrist, the
Mhm.
fucking pins. And this doctor was the weirdest dude, and I get there and he starts like fiddling with him. He's like, yeah, they're fine. And then just yanks the first one out. It was like,
Yeah.
he doesn't say anything, he just grabs him.
With like pliers, and they put
Yeah,
it out.
dude.
Yeah, it's mad.
I like went stone cold white, I was gonna faint. I was like, at least like just give me a warning, don't just fucking yank a thing out of here. Whoa.
It's a weird feeling because I had that here when I had the ligaments done. So
Yeah.
I had a pin sticking out here, and I had that in for 6 weeks. I had 12 weeks like nothing, but 6 weeks with that thing in. And then when you go in, because it's through the bone, you don't feel it. The bones
Yeah.
don't have nerves, so like. She was like 1, 2, 3, poof, and just ripped out, but you can feel it going through your bone. It's like a weird.
Yeah.
Pulled like 3 in there, right?
No, this is here,
Oh.
3 with a plate. I'm just glad I didn't have to do another fucking. I hate getting operated on. Anesthetic freaks me out, and it doesn't suit me very well because I don't know. Like so, when I went for my last surgery, I had to get they give you like an injection to like put you to sleep,
Yeah.
and then they're like, okay, count backwards from 10. I'm like 3, 2, 1. And I look at them and they're like, okay, and then they gassed me as well. So they had to like double sedate me. So I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to get operated on again.
I think it's because you've got that fear, so you don't go out now anyway.
No, like
So now it's even worse.
so I'm like sitting there. I'm like, fuck. I don't want to go to sleep.
I just hate it because like the anaesthetist is always the biggest dickhead in the room.
Yeah.
Just like he's like a butcher. He's like, fuck, sorry, we missed. Start again.
But he's
Come
also
on, bro.
like he's like the guy that like decides if you live or die.
Yeah, yeah. It's hectic.
That's so insane. Like if he had like a bad night the night before, he got pissed or whatever. He's a bit like, no way. He puts like too much of this and then you're dead.
What happened? Nah, he's anaesthetist had a
You
rough
know what I
night.
mean? It's like
Smell you later, boy.
so hectic, bro.
No, it's
That's what freaks me out the most.
It
So
is
that's why like, I hate getting operated on because anything I can do to avoid operation, I'll do it.
So now, what's the sideline?
So 3 to 6 months.
That's before you can train, or I
That's
suppose you
before
can
I
obviously
can-
do other stuff like cardio wise and a bit
That's-
of this and that.
That's before the ligaments like settles again.
Seems
Yeah.
like a long time for
It's a long time.
a
bro.
silly thing.
For like this, you know.
Yeah,
He basically said like if it tears, then I have to get operation on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
So
then,
it's more like operation prevention, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says like you can go in and cut it now and just attach it, but then you're gonna take 12 weeks
Mm.
before it's attached, and then you got to do 3 to 6 months to recover anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll just rather sit the 3 to 6 months now,
Hmm.
and hopefully it's 3 and not 6,
Yeah,
because 12 weeks is like quite long, you know.
I love that because it's the same. They're like, yeah, cool, sling for 5 weeks, 3 to 6 months. I'm like, that is very broad.
Yeah.
Can we narrow it down slightly? Like
Yeah,
3
3
to
to
4
6.
months, 4 to 5 months. 3 to 6 is very narrow.
It's
It's
very
like
long,
a broad
man.
spectrum, fucking.
Well, like I tore those ligaments in my foot as well. They didn't have to operate because it was a grade 3,
Mm.
and that was 12 weeks, and then I was like running on it again. So hopefully, I think I healed pretty quick. So
Yeah, cool. Anyways, Madge in the house, back from a victorious venture in Abu Dhabi at UFC 242. Yeah, man, what's happening besides the torn ligaments and lots of seminars and saving the world?
no, nothing. I mean, we haven't really like settled since
Sure.
since Abu Dhabi. We were in Dubai, did a seminar there. Then we went in Cape Town, did a seminar there, and And now we like literally just got back yesterday, so
Yeah, straight into the podcast.
and straight into the podcast.
Dedication.
You know, did some jiu-jitsu today, and then I'm here.
Nice, fantastic, man. And how's like? I mean, have you? You say you haven't had much time. Have you looked at your fight, given it some thought?
Yeah, I've watched it like 10 times already. Yeah. I've watched it a few times, and I thought the performance was a lot better than what I thought it was. Because like after the fight, immediately after, I was like, oh, I didn't fucking finish that guy, and I should have finished him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but then after watching it, I was like, actually, that's exactly how you should fight that guy.
Yeah, it was one of those strange things because I always there was a lot of people that had a lot to say as always, but it's always a strange one when you come off such a big knockout, because now everyone's like, okay, cool, tune into this fight, somebody's getting knocked the fuck out, and we all want that. Nobody wants it more than you do. That's what people don't realize. Like, we all want to see it, but nobody wants it more than you do. You know what I mean? There's obviously like there's massive incentive for that for every fight, but the reality of the fight game is that that's not always an option. You know what I mean? Really,
like it's like a dance. Like, you need a good dance partner. If he, like, the guy I fought now wasn't there to like hurt me. He wasn't there to like fight me. He was there not to lose. So I was trying to win, but he was trying not to lose. So like, if you gotta have a guy that's like willing to like throw hands and like get into a firefight with you, and he just wasn't willing to do that. So I was like, okay, well, what else am I gonna do here? Am I going to try and play like an outside picking game with a guy who's like 6'12"?
Yeah.
Like
how was that dude so long?
Yeah.
I was
just like, am I gonna do this and like maybe get outpointed, or am I just gonna be in his face and like try and wrestle him down where I know I had a massive advantage on the ground?
Sure. And I think like it was Dominic Cruz and John Anik. And Dominic Cruz kept on saying, and he was like, this is how you fight a long kickboxer. This is what you do. Like, and there was something he said in there that stuck with me. When I came back and watched it again, he was like, for Ziam, this is gonna be his hardest part of his MMA career, is that smart guys like yourself are gonna fight him. Like
100%.
That's just the way it is. I mean, the dude's no slouch, and I think that's people get it wrong. They're like, oh, this dude's just like a freebie. I'm like, dude, there's no such thing in the UFC. Nobody gets a freebie in any scenario. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen like that.
It's the UFC. It's the best of the best. Like, they wouldn't have signed him if he wasn't the best of the best.
Exactly.
And like from what I heard from like other guys and stuff, is that he's quite well known, especially in the European scene. So like, he's like a 3-time European champion. He's fought in Glory. He's a really good kickboxer. He's on the French national wrestling team. So I'm just like, okay, like, and he was actually preparing to fight on the same day, just in another organization. Even though he took the fight on 3 weeks' notice, he was still prepared to fight a fight, and so was I. I was prepared to fight a different dude, and so was he. So we both had to adapt in the fight, or like before the fight, to change our tactics for the fight. And I feel like exactly what I needed to do was what I did. And I would love to have knocked him out, but I needed him to try fight me. It's like in jiu-jitsu, if I roll against a guy who's just like being defensive, it's really hard to submit them. But if they're like trying to like fight you back, then like things start opening. So like, I can keep attacking, but if guys are just sitting like this, it's like really hard to do anything. So it's like, that's the kind of fight that I had. I had this guy that just didn't want to get knocked out, because he obviously saw my fight, and like, he knew, okay, a knockout is like a serious possibility. So like, I'm not gonna go to the UFC, have my first fight, and get knocked the fuck out. No one wants that. So I think that's kind of like the tactic he had in his fight. I think he was trying to take me down, to be honest.
Yeah, he was at a point. He was definitely trying to see what he could do. How different was it this time? Obviously, with a bit more notoriety, more media obligations. Obviously, even the UFC themselves promoted you a little bit more. How was that whole feeling a little bit more different?
That was cool. Like, when I saw the Instagram post from the UFC, I was like, that's pretty cool. Because like, that's what everyone wants. You want the UFC to like be behind you and like and like push your name out. And I had like a lot more support this time around. I mean, I had so many South Africans in Abu Dhabi, which was really cool. Like, you flew out, like a bunch of my teammates flew out, and like people that I didn't even know. Like, I was told today that other people flew out that I didn't even know was there.
Yeah, there were people in my hotel.
I remember walking out and seeing people in Magic Man shirts, and I was like, who are these people? Like, which is pretty cool. Which is really cool. So like, I hope like that sort of like momentum keeps going, and like guys stay like excited about having a fellow South African in the UFC.
There were a couple of things I got asked a lot of odd questions, and it's funny that I've never asked them. I know you've answered them before. The first one was the nail paint. Someone was asking me about that. So I've heard a lot of guys say, and some guys actually paint their nails for actual like reasons to like watch their footwork and stuff like that. And weird, I don't know, like.
I wish I had some like cool reasons as to why I paint my, or like cut a mullet, or like do the weird shit that I do. I don't have any reasons, to be honest. I think I like to stand out, so I feel like the more people that are talking about why I fucking paint my nails, or why I have like a highlighted mullet, you know, if they're talking about it, it means their names in my name's in their mouth.
Sure.
And that's good for me, you know.
And nobody fucks with someone with a highlighted mullet.
I read
Certainly not me.
I read something the other day. I think one of my friends posted it, and he said, if a guy with a mullet says he doesn't give a fuck, I truly believe him.
100%. He's not lying.
He's not
Those
lying.
are 2 rules of life. If a guy with a mullet says he's not fucking around, you take him serious.
Yeah.
You never argue with a bald man. I don't know why. It's
No.
just, they got hard heads.
They're
seems.
angry.
Yeah. Never argue with the bald man. I'm the fuck out of there. I'm like, sorry, sir. I'm moving on.
Like, I wish I had like a cool reason, but I just really don't.
Fantastic. And I was actually saying, someone was the Thai, you speak Thai, and I was saying Don actually speaks 3 languages: English, Thai, and Brazilian English. A lot of people know that. It's pretty.
My Brazilian English is like, it's one of my party tricks. It's like one of my favorite things to do, you know. Sometimes I actually like slip into it when I'm teaching class, because I'm just so used to saying, hey guys.
It just comes naturally.
It just comes out.
Fucking awesome. So what's I mean, obviously you said you got 3 to 6 months there. What's the immediate plans, feelings, hopes?
So I obviously I have to like get this healed up, but I'm hoping to be on the UFC London card, which is in usually the beginning of March. It's around St. Patrick's Day. So I'm hoping to get on that one, just because of the distance from London to South Africa.
Sure.
And the amount of like South Africans that could probably like be there, and the amount of South Africans that are living in London, etc. To try and like play to that audience a little bit. And also I really want to fight the winner of Michael Johnson and Stephen Ray. So
I still after that Stevie Ray fight.
So like I'm still after that fight, just because I think it'll be I think like either one of those guys will want to like fight me.
So is that your plan now? Try and get someone like almost higher up, almost the top 20 kind of ranking.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
100%. You know, like, I mean, I'm still on my first contract, so like you gotta compare the money to the opponent, to the level of opponents. But I think like a guy like Stephen Ray or Michael Johnson, I think I can beat both of them pretty easily. And I think it'll be an exciting fight. It wouldn't just be like a walkover. It'd be a back and forth fight, but it'll be exciting, you know.
Sure, 100%. I like all of those.
Yeah.
Make it happen. And like, okay, so you're saying March. Obviously, I mean the finger's a bit of a hindering, but it's not the complete end. I mean, I'm guessing you can't hit pads and stuff like that.
No, so I'm not allowed any impact on it, which kind of sucks. I'm allowed to do as, I mean, the doctor was kind of like vague. He kind of just said like avoid anything that hurts it.
Sure.
So any like separation of the fingers.
So no mass chess playing and stuff like that.
I mean, no. I mean,
speed chess is definitely out there.
Speed chess.
And Friday Uno also out.
But so I mean, like anything that doesn't cause too much pain, and as long as I keep the 2 fingers together and I don't let them split to damage the ligament more.
And they stay in their little sleeping bag there.
They stay in the sleeping bag. I wear this 24/7, which I mean, like it's kind of a ridiculous little thing.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. I was kind of like,
mandible.
I went through like 4 different like rolls of tape in the last like week.
Yeah.
Because I kept like taping it every single day. If I wanted to go like lift or something, then I tape my hand and like strap like my whole thing. So it's actually easier to have this than to do all that.
Did you know straight away, like as you threw something, you were like, okay, fuck, something's wrong?
To be honest, I went into the fight with an injured knuckle.
Okay.
So I knew it was sore already, but it wasn't as sore as it was after the fight. Because I think the first like real combination I threw was like a left cross right hook, and I hit him on the top of the head.
Yeah.
And I felt it straight away. I felt it immediately. But you know, like you're in a fight, and also I don't wrap my hands when I fight, so I just
straight glove.
Just throw my hands, you know. That's definitely going to change after this, but
live and you learn, eh?
But so I threw that and I felt it happen, but it wasn't painful enough for me to stop throwing the hand.
Yeah.
But I also knew that if it was broken, if I kept hitting him with it, I'm probably gonna have to have surgery. So I was like, there's like a lot of things that were going on in my head during the fight. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to like have to have surgery on my hand. But at the same time, I still want to hit him. So I was just like, I just couldn't find the guy's jaw because he was so tall. So like every time I was throwing for his jaw. I was like overcompensating for his height. So I kept like missing his head. He kept like pulling away. So I kept hitting him on top of the head. So I was like, fuck. Every single time I threw a shot, I hit him on top of the head. It was annoying.
That dude was insanely long, man. It was
I know.
crazy.
It's like ridiculous.
and I don't know if people know it, but like you guys, so how the UFC operates, you can't actually, once you're done, you kind of just have to chill around in the back and watch your TV.
Yeah, so
which is quite strange. Did you guys stick around and watch a lot of fights or?
Yeah, so we had to stay until 10 p.m. So I fought at 6:15. So after my fight, which was around like 6:45, then you go do your media stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you first go to the medic. They check you out. So obviously I could see my hand was pretty jacked, and they just gave me ice basically. Like, well, off you go. But I didn't want to stay in the back anyway. I wanted to go. I actually wanted to go back to the hotel because I don't want to stick around. But then after that, then you do your media, and then from there you get taken to the green room, which is like a whole bunch of food, and you get to watch the fights and stuff like that, which was pretty cool because I met 2 Chainz, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. I actually got a really funny story. So I went up, I saw him walk in, and I was like, that's 2 Chainz. Like I know my rap shit, and I was like, that's 2 Chainz. So then I walked up to him and he had like a big bouncer with him, and I went to the bouncer. I was like, hey, can I get a photo? And he was like, no photo. So I was like, okay, cool. Then 2 Chainz turns around and he's like, I'll take a photo with you. So he stands up, and like you usually like put your hand around the guy's back or whatever. And as he's like, hey, no hugs, man. I was like, cool, dude, whatever. I was just trying to hug you. I was just pulling in.
But without a seafood dinner, you bastard.
Exactly. That's basically what he like was trying to say.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was really funny.
That was the weirdest dynamic because I was sitting across so it was him, Dana White, and Zhang, the Chinese lady. None of them looked at each other the whole night. They just kind of sat there like. Dana just stared at his screen the whole night watching the fights, and you'd like look up every now and then. I was like, that is the most awkward dynamic I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think Zhang speaks English.
Yeah, she can't speak English. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's just like passing the time, like, this one's okay, cool, let's get to the main event and get the fuck out of here.
I know, right? Like that's kind of like, I saw him sitting in the back, and like you're around all the fighters.
Yeah.
And he was like on his phone. He didn't give a fuck. Like,
Crazy.
He didn't give a fuck. He's 2 Chainz, whatever.
Crazy. Fucking living the dream.
He's living the dream.
And cool. So back to the ground. This is the where things get funny. We had the joke. We're going from Poirier, Khabib to Garimba versus Luke Michael.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change, but you know.
I mean, everyone's doing what they need to do. Right? Yeah. Everyone's doing what they need to do.
So, are you? I mean, I know you're actually quite a big fight fan. You're always up to date with what's happening, and what do you think now when you sit in the backseat? You look what's going on at the EFC. The kind of, I mean, bearing in mind that they've come out quite clearly and said there's obviously a financial stuff that they're trying to get through, and I know Kara is doing a lot of good things to kind of get them back on their feet. With all those things in mind, what do you think when you think about MMA in South Africa, when you look at the kind of cards and the kind of stuff they've had to do this year to kind of like survival mode in a way?
I mean, I just hope that they can pull it together, because it'd be a fucking shame if this went away, because you got so many guys that are invested and committed to the sport.
Sure.
That rely on the UFC to have a job, you know. So I really hope that they can actually like pull things together and get it back to the way it was when I was fighting for them, you know. Like it seemed like the days of Don Madge versus Boyd Allen, Don Madge versus Leon Maynard, those days are kind of like drifting away slowly. Sure. And I hope they can manage to bring that back, because those were like the golden days of the UFC, you know. In my opinion, those is when like you had sold out Cape Town events, sold out Johannesburg events. Like that's when things were exciting. So I'm hoping that they can pull that back, and I'm a fight fan, so like I'll always support the local stuff. I go to all the amateur stuff too, you know. Sure. I love fighting, so whichever events I can go to, I will.
Sure. I actually remember your last fight in the EFC with Dave Mazzani. That was one of the like honest and true last fight cards I remembered having like that like almost like in South Africa, the only comparison is like that big rugby day field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Grand West was just, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts the whole day. You know, like, you know, when you like standing Grand West in that sort of walkway, and there's just people just buzzing up and down, up and down,
Yeah.
up and down. You know, like, and people are like frantic to get to their seats, and like see people with their kids, and obviously like all the fight teams.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, which is quite cool.
Well, like I don't think I've been on. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've been on a main event for the UFC that hasn't been sold out.
Sure.
So like, I don't want to say like I'm the fucking shit, but I'm the shit. You know.
Yeah, no, it's a strange thing, and I think it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year for everybody. You know what I mean? Fans, fighters, the organization.
I mean, it's tough, but you know, you would think that maybe the idea would be, let's have less events, have better quality fighters, rather than putting these guys like some of the guys you see on the card is just like, come on, dude, like they
Gap
need
fillers,
like
yeah.
they need 10 more amateur fights before they can be on like a
Sure.
good card for it to be credible, you know. If they did that, maybe if they like did 6 events a year and made them really good, they could save some money. I don't know. I know they got the EFC gyms and stuff like that, but I think like paying guys like 4,000 rand to fucking fight is
Yeah.
like stupid.
Sure. This is something that Warren's been saying a lot as well. Is give us 8 events, 8 fights on
Yeah,
the fight card.
easy.
You know what I mean? Like if you, and it seems like such foreign territory, because I think the EFC rose to notoriety quite quickly. So MMA fans got kind of, you know, they got given all this freebie kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
a free ride, you know, and kind of, now when they're scratching heads to see what the best way forward is, everyone's like, oh, you can't do that. But I'm like, KSW is the 3rd biggest organization in the world. They only have like 7 or 8
Dude,
events
the
in
UFC
world.
cancelled 2 how many fights? 2 or 3 fights on my card
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
They were like, we're the UFC, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the UFC should say. Is be like,
Yeah.
well, go watch another MMA event anywhere else in South
Yeah,
Africa.
sure.
That's this quality.
Sure.
We'll wait.
I'm all for it. You know, this. I think the EFC wants to like deck out cards and stuff, and I think that's a.
And also, like, having a title fight every fucking card is like stupid. It's like, give the guys a chance to build the division.
Yeah.
You know, instead of having a title fight every single thing, and guys are like having records of like 4-3 and 4-2 and this and that. Like, let the guys build up, fight like shittier guys, like guys that are like more like on each other's level, build their records up, build their like fan base up, and then put on like maybe 2-3 title fights
Yeah.
a year. You know, like
Yeah.
let the champions sit for a real champion,
Yeah.
a challenger.
Sure. That's some good points. That is another strange one. It seems like there's always a bit of a rush for a title fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this one is quite prime, like Temba
Mhm.
Grimba versus Luke Michael. I don't have any problem with either of them fighting for a title. I just think it didn't have to happen.
No, I
You know
also
what I
don't
mean?
think so.
Especially in a division that is so stacked. And I mean, if the divisions in the EFC are not always just littered with talent.
Mhm.
At welterweight, now realistically, you've got 8 guys that can, if you want to really put in a Grand Prix,
Yeah.
there's 8 names you could throw in the hat and let them battle out. You could run there for the whole year.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You could let like Timber sit until December, like not even December. You can let him sit till like middle of next year, and like let the challengers like fight it out
Yeah.
and like really get like a fucking challenger. Like you
Yeah.
got like Justin Smith, you got Tressor, you got Luke, you got guys that are like can actually be legitimate threats.
You still got Dino hanging around. You still got Sean DeLange in the
Dude,
mix.
you got all these guys that can actually be threats.
Yeah.
But instead, now you're gonna throw him into a title fight, and if he loses that, now he's fucking back of the list now.
Yeah.
Now, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's gonna be 4-4, and then it's like, okay, cool. Now what? Now he's gonna have
Yeah.
to fight 2 more guys, and then still not be ready for a title shot. You know, like
Sure.
rather let the guys. You know, like in the UFC, you have to win like 5-6 fights in a row before you get a title fight.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, and against like quality opponents. You know,
Sure.
like
It's
I
a
think-
hard road.
I think Luke's last win was against Francis Kundari, which no offense to Kundari, but like, you don't win that fight and then get a fucking title fight, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Like, and that was quite funny actually. So, I said it to Warren a while ago. I'm like, you know that Luke has never won at welterweight. I think he fought at welterweight like ages
Against
ago.
Block, and he got smoked. Yeah.
Exactly. So you literally, and I mean, we've been putting out these rankings, and it's been an absolute fucking shit show. To be honest, it's been an absolute shit show.
I'm sure.
Because the second it goes out, you just get heat. And
I know.
I said to one, I'm like, okay,
Dude,
lightweight
honestly-
rankings are up, get ready, boy, because here it comes. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like, why is Elena Lunga not fighting Temba for the title?
100%. This is the thing.
Guy's
And
11-5. He hasn't lost since like I don't even know. Like he hasn't lost in like 5 years.
So someone was giving us shit about Luke Michael. They're like, oh, how come Luke Michael's? I'm like, but he has not won a fight. And never mind 18 months. He hasn't won a fight at welterweight. So how can we rank him? They're like, how is he fighting for a title? I'm like, that's also not how MMA works.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't say, oh, number one and he's number two, okay, so they must fight.
No,
that's
like
not how it works.
that's how boxing works, you know?
Yeah,
like, boxing is like a little bit more organized than that. Like, you actually have a real ranking system, and you can say, okay, the champion can pick anyone in the top 10 to fight.
Sure.
Like, you know, like that makes way more sense to me. Because like otherwise rankings are basically just fucking thumb sucks, and it's like, okay, we think this guy is like that, you know, like which is basically what everyone's doing.
No, it is like that, but it's and like you don't have to have rankings, but you got to have some sort of direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the EFC's defense is that in the welterweight division, a lot of stuff started like sprouting up, like after they had already made their minds up. You know what I mean? To have this Grand Prix, then. We weren't sure what was happening with Joe Cummins, so they were like, okay, cool, we can keep Lunga in between welterweight and lightweight, which is horrible for him, because if you're unsure about Joe Cummins, let Elaine fight whoever's they think is the next contender for an interim title. I mean, it's not like it's never been done before.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
100%. I don't understand why. I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand how guys are like. He gets offered a fight against like Gavin Hughes. I don't know if he's still fucking contracted to the EFC, but and Gavin Hughes like turns down the fight. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Then cut him. How does he turn down that fight? Like, Elaine's a title contender. He's a title contender. How the fuck do you not make that an interim title fight?
Yeah.
Like, what a little bitch. Why is he turning down the fight? Like, take the fight.
Yeah. You know what Dana White would do in that scenario?
He would make them fight, dude.
Yeah. Or you get cut.
Or you get cut straight up. It's like, okay, you don't want to take that fight. Well, you're a title contender. Then bounce. Go somewhere else. Easy.
100%, man. So there's, you know, this is the thing, and this is my big frustration at the moment is, you've a guy like Elaine as a star power is so underrated.
Yeah, dude.
Because everybody knows who Elaine is. You know what I mean?
And everyone's asking for him to fight.
Exactly.
Everyone's like, every single time I go on like an EFC post or one of your posts, they're like, what about Elaine Lunga?
Yeah.
Where's Elaine Lunga? When's he fighting?
Sure,
You know?
sure. And the same can be said for guys like Trezor as well.
Yeah, dude.
So look, I think they jumped the gun a little bit here, but they've stuck to their guns. You know what I mean? They could have played this welterweight thing out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Good for them though.
Yeah, good for them. But you know, like I sometimes want to say, I know that's what you said, but you know, this is MMA, so you can say, look, I know that's what we said, but this is what we're gonna do. You know?
And
what I
also,
mean?
look, I'm sure Temba wants to fight. So like, he also probably doesn't want to sit. So he's probably like saying, like, I want to fight. I want to get my paycheck. I want to get another win. I mean, I think he's gonna get another win right here and get his paycheck. So I think like for him, this is great. You know, he's like, wonderful. I'm gonna get another win right here. I'm gonna get paid. I'm still gonna be champion. Like, sweet.
Cool.
Keep sending me guys that I know I'm gonna beat.
Cool. Well, seeing as you said that, let's jump into that. So you've obviously and you said it out today. Garimba versus Luke Michaels, two guys you know pretty well. Two guys you've trained with. So you're quite comfortable that Temba Garimba wins that fight?
I mean, look, I'm not trying to like shit on Luke or whatever, but I just think their styles are so similar in terms of like how they fight and how they, especially like how they train. Like I've trained with both of them, and I just think Temba's a little bit better at doing what he does. You know what I mean? In terms of like, they're both kind of grinders. They're both good grappling, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. I just think Temba's like a little bit better at executing that game plan. Also think on the feet, Temba's way more dangerous than Luke.
Sure.
And if Luke's had any problems in his fights, it's usually on the feet. Guys can pick him out, pick him apart, especially if you can't get the takedown, you can't get on top of guys. Having said that, Luke on top is good on top. So if he can get Temba on his back and keep him down and maybe grind out a decision or maybe get the sub, which I think will be a little bit difficult, especially against Temba, because he knows what he's doing on the ground. You know, then he can get the win. But I don't see that. I see Luke trying to do that, getting tired, because I know Temba's gas tank's great.
Sure.
See him getting tired and then Temba just picking him apart on the feet and maybe getting the TKO. Pretty much what he did to Jose or Jose or whatever.
Okay. Well, there you have the main event prediction for
you. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm no fucking expert.
Okay, let's see what you have to say about the rest of this card. This is a tough one because I mean, okay, we've seen Quinton Rousseau 3 times. He's 3-0. We haven't seen too much of him, and the famous unknown arriving for his title shot, Byong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Byong. And I've seen Rousseau fight, I think once. That's a hard one to predict. But if I was gonna go based on like highlights and what I've seen clips, I would say Byung's gonna probably take the. He looks like a pretty decent grappler, from the clips that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think that he's probably gonna take Quinton down and be too much for him on top.
What do you think you would need to beat a guy like Quinton Russo? With obviously saying we don't know much about this guy, he arrives. What would he need to be good at?
Well, I think Quinton has a background in kickboxing. He's got a kickboxing background, and from the last fight that I did see, his grappling looks decent, but I don't think like he's super comfortable on the ground.
Sure. But like untidy almost.
Yeah, like if I was going into this fight, I'd be like, okay, that's the way to win the fight:
Yeah.
put him on his back and beat him up or get the sub.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Biko Madiba. This is an
Mm-hmm.
I'll say exciting, but it's an interesting fight for me.
Mm-hmm.
My gripe here with Tumisang Madiba is he's super active, but he's it's almost like he's reckless abandon with his career. He's like, I'm not interested in building a career anymore. I just want to fight and get paid. That's
a pity to see, because he
yeah.
was like on a good run at one point, but then I think he took a few stupid fights. In my opinion, he took some dumb fights. Like I know like this is probably gonna irritate people, but the fight that he took with Irshad, I think, was a fucking terrible fight for his style. I think it was a terrible. He wasn't ready for that level of striker, even though he did really well.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for that level of striker. Like he's got good power and stuff, but a guy like Irshad has had like so many fights. He's got really, really good crisp striking, like technical striking, world champion level striking. I don't think he was ready for that, and I think that kind of like messed up his career. I think he never really sort of came back from that. Biko, I mean, I think Biko is, except for fighting a guy like JP, who I think is ready. I mean, he's UFC level. He's not.
Sure.
He's way bigger than this. I think Biko has everything it takes to take over this division easily.
Sure.
Easily. Without JP being there.
That's it's funny you said that. I had that thought after watching him with JP.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone, and it's like such a cliche saying now, like there's levels to this. And a guy like Lutando Biko, who's so good in so many respects, you know, he's such a hard worker, he's an honest guy, humble guy, goes in and does his job, and he always gives 100%.
Yeah.
And he's looked really good to that point. You know what I mean? He's bounced up between weight divisions. He's made it look easy most of the time, and then into JP base.
Dude, there's levels like BK also smoked him.
Yeah.
BK and JP, like there's just levels. Like the guys are just there's levels to the game, and it is a cliche, but I think like a guy like Lutando, if in 3 to 5 years, I mean, I don't know how old he is anymore, but 3 to 5 years, he's gonna be like so seasoned, he's gonna be a real problem to deal with. I think also like if he sort of expands like his training style, I think he's a little bit one dimension at the moment. But I think it'll be enough to get the win in this fight. I think his grappling will be way too much for Tumisang.
That's the funny thing about Tumisang, and I always say this, is that I don't think he does much grappling, if any.
Yeah, I mean, I saw he had a blue belt when he first came into the UFC, and it's been like 5 years and he's still a blue belt. So it's just like, okay, cool, like I get it, but if you're not like trying to actually improve your weaknesses or because we all know he has power, he can hit.
Yeah.
He's got power, he's explosive, but it's like, okay, cool, but you need to like work on the things that aren't your strength, you know?
Sure.
And I think it's the same for Lutando, you know, his striking, he needs a lot of work on. He throws a lot of wild things just to kind of get in. But the problem is when you're fighting a guy like JP that you can't out wrestle, what do you do then?
Sure.
You know what I mean? JP picked him apart on the feet, which is crazy because JP's a fucking great grappler. And then when he decided to grapple, he just smoked him.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So I think Lutando will get the decision. Yeah, I don't know if he'll finish Tumisang, but I think he'll get the decision win.
Okay. That seems to be the consensus. The decision win.
Yeah, you'll grind him out.
Fantastic. Also another, this is obviously, that's the Conrad Siabi injury that's just broken.
Dude. Injury in inverted commas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen someone break their hand and cast their whole arm. I don't know, like. So
I don't
know how that happened.
what I'm still trying to figure out is what actually is broken.
Everything, apparently.
Because he said today his elbow is broken. He's got an avulsion fracture on his elbow.
Okay, so my thing is if I'm the matchmaker for the UFC, if I'm Graham or I'm Kara, I say, okay, cool, send me X-rays. Let me see the fucking X-rays, because I can guess.
Didn't you see the video of the X-rays?
Nah, dude, come now. come now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you wouldn't need to post that. You wouldn't need to post that if you actually had a real X-ray that you could just like, I'd take a photo of a fucking X-ray and put it on social media and be like, there's my broken shit. You know, like
I hear
you wouldn't need to like post a video of you getting your arm wrapped up, because like anyone could do it. You could say your arm's sore and I could wrap it up and be like, okay, cool, it's broken arm.
Yeah, and especially with plaster Paris. I'm
come
gonna give Conrad the benefit of the doubt, but I don't like plaster Paris, especially for strange breaks, especially with tendons. I don't think they even use plaster Paris.
A tendon,
anymore.
dude. Like
And not
what?
from your thumb to your shoulder.
Dude, I've torn my ligaments in my knuckle and I don't have plaster Paris.
And you got a beanbag.
I got a sock. You know what I mean? Like, I got a sock.
got a
There's sock
finger
puppet. Like, that's what I got. So like, I'm just in my head, I'm like, okay, I've torn lots of ligaments. I've broken a lot of shit. I've never had plaster Paris ever, except for my wrist when I broke when I was like a kid skateboarding.
Yeah.
And
I think that was also the last time I had plaster Paris was a kid.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm just like, okay, cool. The thing is, he's turned down fights with Trestle before.
Yeah.
So it's like, just say you don't want to fight the dude. It's easy. It's cool. Like, I wouldn't want to fight that fucking guy. He's an animal. He's he's an animal, dude.
I'm all for it. Bro.
If you
bring me the plaster Paris.
Yeah.
If it was me,
If
I was
you're like
going
a little bit unsure,
from toe to neck. I'm like,
dude,
I broke everything. I'm fucked.
If you're a little bit unsure, that's not the guy you want to fight. If you're a little bit unsure, that's not the guy you want to fight, because he hits really, really, really hard, and he's a strong dude. So like, everyone just needs to understand that really, really quickly. That if you like got a little bit of doubts against the guy you're gonna fight, just rather say you don't want to fight him. It's easy. If you're confident, don't like come with like this shit now, like, because now you're also messing with the guy's career. Like, he's been training, he's cutting weight, he's ready to fight. I just saw him today. He's lean, he's ready, and like, now he doesn't have a fight. You know, now he doesn't get a paycheck.
Sure.
Now he doesn't get to advance his career. Now he's sitting again. It's just like, come on, man. And like, that guy's pulled out of like 4 fights in a row. Like, just say you don't want to fucking fight. It's easy.
Yeah,
How's he still on the roster? Cut him.
And I think that's where a lot of the heat is gonna come for Conrad. And you know, like, so the Saunagate scenario, they came out quite hard at me because I posted the weight that he had missed weight, because he had missed weight.
Yeah.
And the EFC had said he had missed weight. And in their press release, they had said he missed weight and he put the weight.
By like 3 kilos.
So they came quite hard at me, which is fine. That doesn't detract from the fact that you haven't made weight. The biggest problem here is where a lot of the slack comes in. If it's the first time, you're like, oh, cool. I don't know if I believe it, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? When it's Saunagate, then missing weight, and then you know, it just becomes like this. Either call it a day because the universe is trying to clearly say to you, look, bud,
stop.
Let's stop. You know, or just
dude,
fucking
give up your pro license, go back to amateurs where you can do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at an amateur event, no one gives a fuck if you pull out. Pull out. Whatever, cool.
Sure.
But don't sign a contract where a guy's actually trying to improve his career and make money and like do something, and then you're gonna pull out a week before just because you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. Like who the fuck misses weight by 3 kilos? Like, how do you even like how do you leave your house on the day of weigh-in and be like, okay, I'm 3 kilos over, I'm gonna magically lose it when I drive there? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You're not taking it seriously, and guys are taking it seriously. And it's just like, either you're going to go in there and you're going to get hurt, which, like, I don't really give a fuck, like, if he does that. But second, now you're like, you got other people that are, like, putting their lives on hold. Because you know how it is in camp. You put your whole life on hold. And all you got to do is worry about camp. Now you got a guy that's been doing this for, like, months, and then he doesn't even get to fight, he doesn't get paid, he doesn't get that money that he spends in camp. It's just like, it's not fair, man. And I think, honestly, it's the EFC's job. It's the EFC's job to say, listen, bro, we're gonna cut you. You can't keep putting out a fight. It's like, what are you doing?
This is a big gripe that I have, and I mean, sometimes I don't maybe relay the message the right way. I mean, like Simon Hall's another one on that card who's a good point, and someone had said, okay, Simon's on the card. I'm like, and I was being facetious, and I was like, look, there's still time for him to pull out, and he was like, he's gonna be there, and like going on and this and that, and I was like, that's fine, bro. Just make sure you are there. That's what I want you to do.
Just show
Don't
up.
tell me about anything else. Just make sure you're there. Just for the fact that this poor dude, his opponent, for the second fucking time, he's being set up for this fight. He wants this fight for a reason. You both do whatever. Don't make this so fucking sacrifice all the shit, leaving his family behind, fucking doing whatever he has to do in the camp, and then he arrives here, and then 24 hours you're like, oh, I got high blood pressure.
It's not right, dude. It's not
you know
right.
what I mean? That's my gripe. I understand things happen in this game, 100%. But my big gripe is when you leave Oaks hanging like that. They've had to go through so much.
Oh, dude, it's not right.
It's
just not right. It's not fair. It's not right. Like, I just think of it as like if you're working any other job, if you're working an office job,
Sure.
and like every single time you're going to the office, you're like every single week you're going, oh, I'm sick, I hurt my hand, I got high blood pressure. Every Friday you're like, oh, eventually I'm gonna be like, well, fuck you, don't come back, you're fired. You know what I mean? Like, don't come back, you're done.
Here's
Like,
your CCMA letter. We'll see you
peace
there.
out.
Get the fuck
You know
out
what I
of
mean? Like, go. Like, I'm not gonna employ someone that's not serious about their job.
No,
'Cause you
100%.
clearly not.
100%. Yeah, man. So we've got Stefan Pretorius and Zakir Badat sliding in there, and this is obviously. So there's a bit of a dog march going on outside. I don't know what's happening. This is, I like this fight. I do, because it's two guys that have like really stuck up their hands quite quickly. Obviously, it's a division that's really, really, really thin, because they're kind of saying whoever wins here will get a shot at the winner of Rousseau Biong, which is crazy to think, because I think Zakir Badat, this will be his second fight in the EFC, or as a pro even, perhaps.
Who did he fight before? That says he fought in the UFC before.
Yeah, Zakir, we'll find out now. He had a fight. He's 1-0.
Oh, so he won.
Yeah, it was later on in the prelims. It was his debut. Who did he fight? Oh, Willem Smith, Techno Viking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look, we can't say too much about that. But listen, this dude, in Durban, everybody can't stop talking about this kid, because he's a physical beast.
He looks massive.
He's like one of these gymnast kids who's been doing gymnastics his whole life. I think he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Apparently, very, very, very good. He looks the part. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of hype behind him, which is really cool. The problem for him is that he's gonna be hyped into a division that leads to nothing really. You know, which is quite sad. So Warren seems to know him quite well. Perhaps there's an option of trying to get down to middleweight, something like that, because light heavyweight is a tall order.
Yeah.
Tall order. Because I don't think he cuts for light heavy. I think he just walks in there, and he fought at heavyweight. So he's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't really know anything about him. Like I said, I don't really know his.
Sure.
He's 5'6".
Yeah. At
And
light heavyweight.
heavyweight. That's a fucking terrible decision. He needs to go to welterweight, dude. That's ridiculous.
I think he definitely can cut weight, because
He looks like he claps the gym, but
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Apparently, he doesn't even. He's just one of those like gymnasts, dude. Yeah,
That's crazy, man.
Freaky.
I mean, he needs
dudes.
to diet.
Yeah,
but I don't know enough about him to really like give
100%.
a fair comment on that fight. But I mean, I don't know what his kickboxing is like. But if he's a brown belt on the ground, like that would be a pretty obvious way to win the fight.
Sure.
To take that dude down and I'll grapple him.
Heavy top position.
Yeah, and he looks strong. So
yeah.
like, I think I would assume that's what he's gonna do in this fight.
You don't get those guns without a bit of strength, boy. Look at those things.
Sons out, guns out.
See
boy.
those
calls for the goals.
Yeah, those traps aren't made on the jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, he
I'll tell you
catches
that
bears
much.
with those traps, brother.
Boy's a beast, eh? Listen, I'm not getting in there with that fella. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
And then the old dogs,
Mm-hmm.
P.D. Coxon and Dino Bagatine.
I mean, I'm a bit biased here, but I honestly believe that Dino will win this fight. I think his stand-up is a lot slicker than Coxon's. I know Coxon's got a good boxing background, but I think Dino's got way more tools. He's got good knees, good elbows, good kicks, and I also think that his wrestling and his ground is a lot better than PT's. So unless PT can crack him with something like out of the blue, I don't see him winning this fight. I see Dino pick him apart. I mean, I thought he won his last fight against Anisets. I thought he did enough to win that fight. And if I don't know if Aniset and PT have fought, but I think Aniset would smoke PT. So that kind of is how I'm judging this fight. You know, I think Dino's just got too much experience, too much skill, too many tools for PT, and I think he's gonna pick him apart.
The cool thing here is, so PT's 5-10. You don't want to write home about that, and then so you got 17. There's a lot of fights between those two gentlemen.
A lot of fights,
which is quite rare in the EFC.
Yeah, 21 fights for Dino. It's a lot of fights, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fights. And I mean, he's tall, he's rangy, he hits hard. You know, he's knocked a lot of dudes out. I just think that like if he goes out and he does like the thing that he does, goes out and fights like Dino Bagatine.
Yeah.
If he's just Dino, he's gonna send PT home quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting fight that. I quite like that fight.
I think
as
that's like one of the more exciting fights on the main card for me personally,
well. And
because
that's why it's opening up the main card.
Yeah, I think they're gonna throw it down, which is gonna be exciting.
Cool. So we've got Don Madge's picks here. We're going Cox and... Oh, you didn't give us a prediction for the next one. You're going to have to take a fly at Pretorius versus Badat.
Oh, I think Badat takes him down, submits him.
And then we said Biko, Biong, and Garumbo.
Yeah.
I hope you know we putting you down for some drinks.
Oh no, you can do it. Don't worry, I'm a man of my word.
So you'll definitely get suckered into some drinks there.
No problem.
Yeah, man. You know what I wanted to ask you? Okay, there's nothing being set here. Okay, that's the full card. So EFC 83 is still blank at the moment. They're keeping all the cards close to their chest.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the big talk of the town is Drickus versus Lazar.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping for. I think that's the fight to see out the year. That it's like the rabbit in the hat, kind of, you know, put them on the map again and really come with a bang. If you're Drickus du Plessis, would you take that fight?
100%. If I was Drickus, I'd be like, okay, I mean, like, no disrespect to Brandon, but I just think Drickus is just too much for him, honestly. Like, it's one thing, and no disrespect to anyone, but it's one thing finding a guy who's like 36 years old and hitting him with the left hand and sending him to sleep that hasn't fought in like 3 years. It's another thing finding a guy who's like in his 20s, fucking prime of his career, savage, just came off a really, really good win overseas, smoked that dude. He's hungry, he's aggressive, he's strong. That's a whole different fucking animal that you got to deal with. And I think that if Drickus was smart, I'd be like, sign me up for that fight real quick, and I'll just get my money and get another win on my record. Yeah,
it's an interesting scenario because I think before there was no value in it for Drickus, and he kind of looked at scenarios like, well, you know, this dude won the fighter and not much else. He's been around a long time, but you know, his record, if the UFC are looking at my record and they're like Brendan Lazar, they're like, oh fuck, you beat Brendan Lazar, let's sign him. That's just the reality of the situation, and that's no disrespect, that's just the reality.
100%.
Beating Soldier Boy changes things.
Yes.
So now Drickus is like, okay, well, now they can start to say, okay, listen, I beat this guy who just knocked out Gareth, who was at the UFC, you know, was like one of the greats in African MMA. Mm-hmm. So now it's a different ballgame. The biggest catch is obviously the financial.
Yeah, 100%.
Because KSW and EFC are not putting out the same paychecks.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
So I think that's where Drickus is sitting right now. It's like, okay, do I, you know, because this is a fight game, anything can happen. So like, do I risk my chances of getting into like a big promotion like the UFC or Bellator or ONE FC, taking a fight against like someone that like even a win against doesn't really do anything for my career, then the only reason I would do that is if they pay me good money, you know, like sure. I wouldn't even set foot in that cage for less than
$1 million.
Like, no, I wouldn't. If I was Drickus, I wouldn't even set foot in that cage for less than 150,000. Like, I wouldn't even like look at it, because I know if he's fighting a KSW and he's getting 5-5, which I'm assuming like is the minimum they're gonna throw at him. You know, he's already overdone. He's already done more than that. So like, I'm just thinking like, okay, cool. If I'm gonna take that fight, you better be paying me. I better be guaranteed X amount of money, and then I get a bonus for winning, and then etc. and be able to get my sponsors and all that stuff. So if I was Drickus, I'd be like, okay, cool. This is, if you want me to fight that dude, this is what I'm gonna pay you, because I'm not gonna risk my career to fight for like 20 grand against like a guy who could maybe like do something, and then that fucks up my plans to go to big organizations. So like, that's the thing, is like, if you want those types of fights and you want that caliber of athlete, you got to pay. It's just the reality. Like, if you want a guy like that who brings in a crowd, he's got a good following, he's marketable as fuck, like you have to pay him.
I feel like you should get a t-shirt with that, marketable as fuck.
I know, like
Drickus du Plessis.
Brought
to you by CM Trading.
You know what I mean?
Marketable
like,
as fuck.
He's marketable as fuck. So like why wouldn't he be looking at other options? Like, where guys are, like the way KSW like promoted him and stuff, like that's cool, you know, like because they see star power in him, you know, so they're willing to pay and they're willing to promote him because they're like, okay, cool. You know?
I think if the EFC are smart and they've cut shows, they've really skinned through the year, they should have bagged something should be banked. You're gonna
Mhm.
throw all those chips at Drickers. That's the only way you're gonna get that done.
100%.
And I think it's gonna be worth it.
100%.
That's where I
Definitely.
see it as well.
Definitely.
Whether they're gonna get that deal done, it seems like they keep suggesting they're getting closer and closer. I know Graham commented on, I think today, saying like something magical in the works kind of thing. It seems like it's there. I'm not 100% convinced. It's quite. I don't know, man. I don't want to be the skeptic. I hope it happens. I really do. I'd love to see it because I think there's so much in it now between, like Lazar really, really believes he'll get it done. Coming off a big one like that, I think it's changed the whole dynamic of that fight. But whether financially they can get it done will be the big one.
I agree. I think if I was the UFC, I want to keep my stars.
Yeah.
I want to keep my stars,
Yeah.
and the only way to do that, realistically, this is a job.
Yeah.
Like the only way to do that is to pay people.
Sure.
Otherwise, why wouldn't? If he has an exit, take the exit.
Yeah.
Go fight for a bigger promotion that will actually have weight on your career,
Yeah.
have weight on your record, and get paid. Like fuck, get paid, my man, get paid.
Straight. It's a short window in this game. You've got a narrow gap, So you've got to do that, and I think that's the reality. You want to get paid, and you got to get paid.
100%.
You got to get in and get out while you still can.
100%.
That being said, do you have like I know you're still young. Your career's only realistically just starting. Do you have like a time frame in your mind, like an age kind of thing?
I mean, I've always kind of said that if in 10 fights you can't get to the title,
Yeah.
call it a day. Because if I have 10 fights in the UFC and I don't get the title, I don't want to be like a Donald Cerrone who keeps taking these fights and fucking getting knocked out by guys that are there to fucking to really do this,
Yeah.
So I think that if in 10 fights with the UFC I haven't got my title, I haven't got the things that I want to do, then I'll call it a day. But I think like 30 fights in an MMA career is enough fights. I don't think you need to be having like 50, 60 fights like these other guys. I think 20 to 30 fights is an intelligent number, realistically, because we put our bodies through a lot. You take a lot of damage in camps. Everything that you do is like hard on the body. It's tough. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of everything. So I think, I'm giving myself 10 fights in the UFC, and I believe I can do everything that I've set myself out to do within those 10 fights. So, winning a title, defending it once or twice, and then calling it a day with grace, and saying I've done what I need to do, I've accomplished all my goals, and saying, cool, I'm gonna go live a good life now.
Cool. And what does that good life entail? Do you have like maybe you're gonna start a band, sing you with that guitar,
No.
maybe you can keep that finger sock and hit the WWE, the return. You can be like mankind's
Dude, you
stepson or something.
You joke, but WWE is definitely like an option for like every retiring
100%,
MMA fighter. I think like that's like a fucking sick option, because like you get to do something that's pretty similar to what you're doing, but without like really getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
So like that's always like an idea. But for me, I think like I want to do the exact opposite of what I've done my entire life. So instead of grinding my whole life, I just want to fucking chill out. So I'd like to open up like a jiu-jitsu academy, teach jiu-jitsu for the rest of my life, and just enjoy my life. Live a really humble, simple life, teach jiu-jitsu, relax, and age gracefully.
Okay. Will you speak Brazilian English in your academy?
Hey guys, if you come to my academy, guys, I teach you everything, all the techniques. Okay, guys.
It'll be awesome. ADCC, yeah, you've got some familiar faces and friends with you that will be competing in there.
Yeah, man. ADCC is exciting, man. I'm super, super excited to see what Gordon Ryan is able to do. I'm very excited to see him like come back. I know he's grappling against Paul Harris. Who's on Paul Harris soon?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. I think that's gonna be a fucking mad one, because those two guys are like gorillas. So it's like crazy. Super excited to see that one. Yeah, he's really like one of the guys that I'm really into at the moment, just because I like what he's doing for jiu-jitsu. Like,
yeah,
he said something really interesting the other day, is that everyone's like, oh, jiu-jitsu, respect this, respect that. It's like, no, jiu-jitsu used to be guys going to a gym and saying, fight us or we take your fucking gym.
Fuck, I've never
You know what I mean?
thought about it like that.
The Gracies used to walk into
Yeah.
an academy, be like, "Oh, you guys do karate? Fight
Yeah.
us, or we take your fucking gym." So they used to walk in, they'd be like, "Who's your best guy? Here's our best guy. We'll fuck you up," and then we take the gym, and then it's like, "Cool, now it's our gym. We open a new gym here, jiu-jitsu, done." So like everyone's like, "Oh, you know, you must be respectful, this, that." Like, no, because it's not really about that. It's about who is the best.
Yeah.
You know, who can impose their will on who, and that's what guys like kind of like gotten a bit skewed. I mean, I'm big into the whole like respect and humility part of fighting. Like, I love Khabib's approach to fighting, where it's just like, let me show you how good I am, rather than let me tell you how good I am. I'm gonna show you how fucking
Sure.
good I am. You know,
Sure.
I enjoy that. I really like that. But at the same time, if someone wants to say, oh, like a lot of guys like hate on Gordon Ryan, like saying, "Oh, you haven't won this, you haven't won that." He's like, okay, well then fucking grapple me, you bitch, and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? And then everyone shies away for a reason, for some reason.
Yeah, he's he's an interesting character because he's obviously playing that heel in jiu-jitsu, but he's not like going as far as Dylan Dennis, but he's still there, and he's like it's funny because he's the first like brash kind of jiu-jitsu superstar. I mean, there's obviously been big names in jiu-jitsu, and there might be bigger names, but that heel role, like what he's doing, and like it's different when you're backing it up.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're talking shit and getting smashed, like
You know,
just, everyone like starts to turn the TV, like, listen, but like, fuck, okay,
there's
cool,
two
move
types
on.
of approach. You know, you can go the Marcelo Garcia approach, be super humble and just smoke guys because you're so good, you know, and then let that do the talking.
Yeah.
Or you can take the approach of Gordon Ryan, where he says, "I'll grapple anybody and beat anybody."
Yeah.
And he believes in himself, and I believe in him too. I like, he's got an 88% submission rate. I mean, against the best guys in the world. The only other guy like that is Hodger Gracie.
This might be loud.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's unbelievable. You and then guys still like hate him.
So this is just what you were talking
There we
about.
go.
This is
They just roll up into someone's academy and just like,
Yeah.
okay,
cool.
fight me or
Yeah.
or leave.
This is pretty cool. Everyone's just standing watching.
Yeah, so this is how jiu-jitsu
This-
started.
yeah.
So anyone's like, oh, jiu-jitsu, you have to respect everybody. Like,
Rijron
do you?
Messi.
Do you really? Because they used to just like thug dudes, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
straight up just gangster grapple dudes. Just like fight for turf, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's quite. So this dude's wearing an action fighter. Can you see? Action fighter shirt. And he's obviously the bad boy in the gym. And they're like, cool, here's our purple Rijron Gracie.
Yeah, dude.
And
Like,
let's see what happens.
this is what's up, you know? And like, it's
Everyone's just standing around watching what the fuck's going on. This is
it's the
I
reality.
think we
Like,
should
I've seen
bring this
so
back.
many of these, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen so many of these already. And this is what it used to be like,
Yeah.
you know? And like, you see them get into like these dominant positions and slap guys instead of punching
Yeah, this is
them.
what I was gonna say. I want to see what he does here. If he's gonna like just choke him out, or is he actually gonna start like bitch slapping this dude?
Yeah, so like a lot of them would open hand palm strike them because
Tap.
yeah, see there, done.
Like a
Ezekiel.
collar choke.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
So like there, that's it. Cool. Fuck your academy.
Yeah.
This is ours now.
Who's next?
You know what I mean? Who else wants some?
Is it?
And it's cool. Like that's what jiu-jitsu should be about. It's about who's the best.
I think we should just bring this back.
Yeah,
We should
who's
just
the
start
best?
rocking up at Oaks gyms and be like, "What's up
Imagine.
now?"
Maybe not in South Africa. Because maybe not in South Africa. Oaks will get shot. I mean, guys will be like, "Oh really? You got jiu-jitsu? Well, I got a fucking Glock 9."
Yeah. Check this one, brother. These Oaks are getting in each other's face. Pedro Sawa versus Lance Bachelor, bodybuilder.
You see,
Why do they always pick on bodybuilders though? It's a bit unfair.
because they walk around like they're main. You know.
But clearly they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, I hate going to the Virgin Active because every time I just want to go in and do like a normal workout, I gotta see some fucking prick in like a spaghetti top and tights
Spaghetti.
with like a flat cap and Beats by Dre headphones on and clapping the gym, brother, doing bicep curls. It's like, okay, like this.
Yeah.
And like, I know girls that will choke you to fucking sleep, my man.
This is what I loved about the Gracies, especially back in the day. They would always find like the smallest, lankiest dude they could find and be like, okay, you go. Imagine being that dude and you're like, just there on a Tuesday, they're like, listen, tomorrow we're going to the gym. There's going to be this fucking 300-kilo gorilla there. We want you to choke him out. And listen, it's very important that you win, because otherwise our family's going to be disrespected.
Exactly.
You're like, cool, uncle. See you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, well, like that's how much they believe in their technique, right? And that's what I see in Gordon Ryan when he talks all this shit. It's like he believes it, and he backs it up and he shows it because he has like a system of his. It's like when I say things about like when I'm gonna go into a fight, and I say it because I believe it. It's not because I'm like trying to hype up a fight. I'm not that type of fighter. I'm not that guy who's gonna like talk shit to get a fight or to like get a matchup or to build my name up. I'm gonna say exactly what I want to do because that's what I believe I'm gonna do. You know? So it's just like I completely get that. And anyone that hates something, it's just either it's like striking a nerve in you where you don't believe that you're good enough, and you're kind of like, or you're just a fucking little crybaby, you know.
One or the other.
One or the other. There's no in between.
Fantastic. You heard it, you little crybabies.
Heard it first, crybabies.
Yeah, geez, man, we've dealt with a few this week. I'm not gonna lie.
People
have been coming hard.
Like I saw the fans react to Jeremy Stevens getting poked in the eye, throwing like a fucking bitch fit. And I'm just like, how many of you guys would fight a guy like Yair Rodriguez with one eye? How many of you fucking guys throwing those bottles and that beer? How many of you guys would step in there now with one eye and fight that dude?
It's such a weird one, because my wife asked me, she was like, what happened? I'm like, because people going mad. I'm like, they feel that he bitched out. She's like, did he? I'm like, I can't say. Like, it's very hard to say. And you know, like I always try to give whoever the benefit of the doubt. If you watch the slow-mo, like, it doesn't really look like it hits his eye, but when you see them go and try, like, if you've ever had a finger in your eye, you know, like, if you're keeping it closed, you're gonna see like your eye's gonna do this, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like, you're like, okay, cool, I can't open it. You're like, listen, just fucking relax, you can open it. Yeah. When your face is like still and that lid just refuses, that's when I was like, okay, fuck, there's definitely, because they were trying to lift his lid and that thing was refusing. It was just like, no, I don't want to.
Well, it's like, what do people want? Do they want another Michael Bisping story where he loses his fucking eye? Like, come on, guys. Like, what? Like, then we might as well allow eye gouging in. Did you see the video of him
coming out of the hospital? He was like full on Joker, he was like half the face. They like it plastered his whole face.
But it's just like, it's like people that complain about that. I understand people pay money to go see a fight, but what happened if one of them got knocked out in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Your fight is over really quick. You didn't pay to see a long, boring fight. You paid to see someone get starched. So like, at the end of the day, the fight was going to always be short, you know? So like, what are people really expecting? Like, what are you guys expecting? It's just like, makes no sense. There was a scenario, I think it was 2 weeks ago or a week ago, was Todd Duffy.
And like Todd Duffy, you're like, okay, bro, like you're twisting it now, and because your eyes are open clearly. But again, like you don't know what's going on with his eye. He's saying he's seeing double. You have to believe him. His eye looks fine, you know what I mean. But there's no way of you knowing. And like, he got a lot of heat, but that seemed a bit dodgy to me. I was like unsure until I saw them actually going. I think Herb Dean tries to like open his eyelid, and that thing is just refusing. You know what I mean? Like, if your eye's fine, like, you'll get it open. Like, if you've ever had like a really bad eye poke, I played rugby against some dirty fuckers that used to do that on purpose. They would shove their fingers into your eyes. I promise you, for like a long time, you actually can't. And every time you try and open it, just waters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, there's a big difference between like, you know, your eye being a little bit jacked up and it being completely fucked. Like, if something like scratches,
and then on top of it, having Yair Rodriguez in front of you. Like, exactly, you know what I mean?
When shit's coming, it just helicopter
all over the show. Like, so like, people just now like understand that. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe he could have. Maybe he could have carried on. Maybe he could have. But are you going to risk it against a guy who can absolutely knock you out? It's just like, no. Why would you? Look, he lost just as much as Yair lost. Yeah. They both got their show money. That's it. They didn't get their win bonus. So like, and guys, they like, it's not like they're fighting for 4,000 rand. Yeah. They're fighting for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's a massive.
Trust me, he wanted to win that fight. Sure. He didn't want to get a no contest. He wanted to win the fight because with that amount of money on the line, trust me, you don't want to get a no contest. You want to win. You want to get your win money.
100%. Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
The best was I think it was MMA Uncensored posted this picture of like this fat dude on his couch and he jogs with his popcorn. He's like, I would have carried on fasting. Like, I think that's like the quintessential way to sum it up.
Exactly. Anyone that's complaining about the fight,
I would have carried on fighting.
I know.
It's all good fun.
It's like, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do shit.
And in closing, dude, what's happening with you from here? What's the immediate plans?
So obviously I'm trying to just heal up, and once I can get back into the swing of training, then I'll book a fight. You know, I'm looking. I already told my manager, like, let's start looking at UFC London, because I really want to be on that card. It's a like
nice card to be on,
big card every year. They always have like a really good main event. So, and after being on Khabib Poirier, I don't want to go on to like a fight night now. I want to keep going onto those big cards. Unless it's a main card, you know what I mean? So I want to keep going on to these like big cards that have a lot of hype and a lot of traction behind them. So, you know, hopefully we can get that. Obviously, granted that my hand allows. But honestly, if it doesn't, if it's not ready by, I don't know, like December or something, you know, I'm gonna have to take another step to make it heal quicker. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what we're gonna have to do, if it's gonna involve surgery or whatever. But I just don't want to be put out any longer. I don't want to have to wait another year to fight. I would like to fight again. I would like to get 2 to 3 fights next year. So hopefully that all goes to plan, you know.
Fantastic, man.
That's it.
Hopefully that all works out.
Yeah.
UFC London will be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be sick.
Nice South African crowd as well.
Uh-huh.
Be cool. And I'm sure, well, mind you, if Darren Till can beat Calvin Gastelum, I think they'll look at a main event, a big main event involving Darren Till. So that card will build up some big momentum quite quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
Very sick.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I hope so.
Fantastic, brother. Thanks very much for your time.
Man. Thank you.
Thanks for pulling in as always.
Always
appreciate
fun.
it.
Always fun.
Lovely. I think, Warren, you can stay away next week as well. We'll just keep this rolling.
We'll grapple for our spot.
Yeah. I like that. We're going to film it as well. It's going to be like this Gracie challenge. Palm slaps allowed. Cool, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later. Don, thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you soon. Peace.